Right. Can you guys hear us well? Yes. Okay.
I'm not here. I'm not here, Bo. Like, this one is not working.
Want to say something?
I want to say something. Is it working now? No. Not the lights.
Not the lights. The microphone.
Not the lights, the microphone.
Almost the same thing, but not the same.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
The microphone.
Can you hear me now? This one. Maybe I was this one. Oh, this one is not working. This one is working.
This one doesn't work, okay.
You're just gonna have to yell very loudly.
I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so how many people came for the panel and how many are reserving seats for the ocean?
We knew that.
Hands up who went here for the panel.
Can we maybe...
Good. Okay.
Good.
That's the ocean.
Can we maybe shut the lights here to make the screen more visible?
Because we starve for light.
Yeah, so we need the
Got it.
darkness. Thank you so much.
Breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. Okay, so we can start now. Like, people are going still, but we can start now, I guess.
Yeah, we can. So, hello guys. We thank you for joining our panel here today. So, I guess we should just first introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Going from the left.
No, you're first, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. So, my name is Filip. You guys can know me as Misiek on the internet, and I work as a project leader for Exiled Game Team on our game Start for Light. And today I have two guests, two friends joining me here today. You're the first, okay.
She has the mic, I don't.
Yeah, I got a mic, so I got a power. And hello, I'm Lilyanna, my name is Basha, and I'm the leader of the artist department in our team. And we also got a friend.
Yeah, my name is Slaneshi. I can say it on the mic if you want to. My name is Slaneshi. I can hold it, thanks. I am the Russian representative of the team. I do PR for the Russian market. Yeah.
All right, so today, here's how we're gonna go, guys. We have a presentation here ready. We got some stuff to show you about the game, and we got some later some gameplay to show. It's gonna go for like, why did you start it? We're gonna show it off for like half an hour, and then later we're gonna have a Q&A when we're gonna answer your questions that you guys want to ask us, or I don't know, talk whatever you guys want us to talk about. So, just a quick question. How many of you guys actually know of us from before the panel, from before the... And that's plenty, but there's still some people who didn't raise their hands. So for those people, to bring everyone up to speed, we're gonna try to give you a brief and short description of what our game exactly is. So, Start for Light is a 2D platformer, which is the way the game works is about two main characters, and it's Iris and Lilyanna. These are our two characters, and the way the game works is that in this one, both of these characters are playable, and each of them have their own abilities and have to overcome their own obstacles. They have their own set of playstyles, you could say. And the first one, we have Iris, which is, her gameplay is oriented around basically your basic platformer, kind of like games like Limbo, the games you're probably used to in the classic platformers. She has, her gameplay is more focused on the platforming, on the puzzle solving, and yeah, all that stuff. On Lily, on the other hand, is all about the fighting, all about the combat. She's going to be fighting big monsters, enemies. She's going to have some magic spells that she can use to battle them. And she is not oriented at all about the platforming, the way she moves around.
So go back to Iris for a while.
I'm gonna go with back to Iris. So yeah, so how do these characters differentiate between them? Iris is more of a character, like I said, about the puzzle solving and basic platforming. So she's gonna have some extra abilities like, yeah, it's gonna be platforming when she can get from one place to the other using different things in the environment. She's gonna have later on some abilities that allow her to give her some buffs that she can, for example, she can walk on walls, she can get invincible for a little bit to move throughout the level. And then we have Lilyanna.
What the hey?
Yeah, this. And her game, her style is going to be all. Her movement is not going to be platformer based. It's going to be more flight based, where the way she's going to be moving around is going to be all with her flight abilities. So she's going to be able to, like you can see here, perform like big jumps upward. She's going to be able to maneuver throughout the air to avoid any spikes or other obstacles or enemies. Maybe she's going to have some other spells that she can use also to combat others, like the shield, which can reflect projectiles that she has thrown at her back at the enemy, or a smaller stun spell, which is going to be used to stun enemies and make them unable to attack for a little while.
So we know the characters, so let's talk about art now and how all it started. Because it all started with a character design, because you know they're sisters, so basically they're based on the well-knew sisters, but because of season disease, we decided to redesign them to our own original characters. So first we decide how Lilyanna should look like, so the older sister, and how Iris should look like. So now you know the originals, how should they look like and how may they look like in some Easter eggs. And we got characters like ancient ponies. The whole race was designed from scratch, and they appear in some environments in the game. We got the crystal deers, which are the first enemies in the game. And here's a little animation of them. It's a work in progress, but it's a basic movement and the full progress of a transformation, because they will be calm, and if they spot you, they will transform into something bigger and much angrier.
If I can actually add a little note about this, because maybe not many people can know. Even though this is a fun game, even though we are not a commission, one thing you can probably already notice is that this is not a game connected to MOP in any way. This is an original thing. It has its own characters, it has its own story, its own world, its own enemies. Everything's originally created, so you're not gonna find any things that are connected to the show, and everything is completely made original. And
it's because after all, we want to go abroad the fandom. We want to show this game to the world, not only for pony fans. So we designed some fans, the original characters. The whole process is
also copyrights.
Yeah, copyrights, but just it's nice to have something original, yeah, to have something for us and for you, of course. So there's a process of creating a Fiend. It's not easy, as you can see. There are so many options to choose, and we have to decide not only how do they look like on a sketch, but how do they look like in a game, how should they move, how should they be visible in a game, because of our art style. And also we are designing different locations, and while designing the locations, we also have to think about the platforming level of the game, so how the character will jump through the environment and what obstacles they will meet there. So here's a little cave, which was originally a crystal cave, and now it's full of glowing mushrooms and stuff. Glowing mushrooms, wink wink. And we're also working on a lightning of the game, since it's a Starfall Light, so the lightning is a crucial element of the game. Like, we wanted to make the whole ecosystem work and the light make good vibrations. And we also want to implement some basic physics into the game. Like water with the physics, with reflections, with some object movement in them. And we are also using the Unity tools for wind. And we also designed the whole UI from scratch. And this was the first ever draft of the UI, but you see, it sucks. And we tried to look how the different types of UI should be represented. So we had an idea of losing an HP. Then we come to something like that and wanted to make it more natural. And it's the present UI that you might see in upcoming demo.
Yeah, what we wanted to do essentially is try to make UI as much immersive to the game as possible. We're actually considering making no UI at all and just making it be reflected throughout some game in some way. So, for example, if we have magic energy, we don't need the bar on the bottom. We can just make it through how much the horn glows, for example. Like, if it dims down, then that means that magic is running out, and if it's glowing brightly, then that means that you have lots of energy. But so this is what we went with. Yeah.
So the UI is as basic as it can be, just represent the most crucial elements, and everything we can do, we want to attach to the character, like a magic.
I have my own one, two. Well, this works. Great. So lots of stuff was shown, and I wonder how many of you actually played the demo before? That's not many.
Not many.
How many of you played it today on our table? And the Gallicon maybe? Anyone? Well, that's not many of you. Okay. So the thing is that this content that was shown, this was for the first demo, because along with the big Starfall Light game that we're making, we're also making two demos: Starfall Light Sunset, which is shown, and Starfall Light Sunrise, which is going to be all about Lilyanna. We are going to use that basically to show you the gameplay mechanics, that you can try them. We plan to get some feedback from you, and most importantly, you will be able to get it on Steam for free.
It's a magic word.
Yeah, as for the actual release of the game, well, I hope before Gabe releases Half-Life 3. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And because we are shameless bastards, allow us to plug our Patreon if any of you feels generous enough to support us poor game developers, because we don't make anything out of this.
We're just paying people like musicians, like programmers, graphics, because it's their work, so we have to be honest with them and pay for the work.
The way usually our team works is that we try to keep it very small, but we have a couple professional people who actually make real good stuff, but it all costs money. This isn't a charity project, so we make whatever we can do.
And we all, like, not only we here, but our whole team want to thank you for supporting us, not only by money, but by being with us, like being here, supporting us with the whole fandom and whole power. So we want to thank you for this awesome community, for being part of it, and that we are able to create something like that for you. So we're gonna have a small gameplay now.
Yeah, now what everyone actually came for.
Oh no, that's me.
Yeah, we're also gonna. Okay.
Just be gentle.
Yeah, I would like to actually show you guys a bit of actual in-depth stuff that you probably came
visible.
for. Yeah, I know. I need to.
So I'm gonna be Lily this time.
So yeah.
Can you just hold him up?
Oh, sure.
Just sit there.
Thank you. So yeah, some of you guys had actually a chance to play our demo or try to at least. But right now what I wanted to do is not just show you some of the stuff from an actual demo or how it works, but also some... This is not a full screen? I can make it full screen. But actually also show you guys some of the other stuff that we've been working on. Some of the in-depth stuff more so. And those that you haven't had a chance to play in...
Oh no, I'm glitched.
Why would you do that? In the game
Sorry.
build, because it's not there yet, but it is currently in development.
Oh no,
We'll
you
work on
dropped
it.
me through some spider nest. I'm scared. I'm super scared.
And this is actually one of our features that we are going to put into the Hive level. These are what we call them
Take it.
spider nests, and these work like a mobile obstacles, like mobile spikes or something. They are stuck in different places where they either block your way or they just act as an annoyance to you. What you can do
Oh no, my
is
light.
blow them up like this. You have to use the light, which drains the energy.
That's some serious pixels.
And they can then just pop. This is an in-depth stuff, so this is still yet to do.
Burn
We have some
'em.
models for those, but we still need to plug them in.
Burn. Burn. Burn.
Yeah, she's gonna do the voice effect. Yeah. And another feature of it is also, and I don't think it's actually in here yet, some of these web...
I'm scared of spiders. Kill him faster.
Some of these also nests are supposed to have a sort of shell, like an armor, which is going to block them from taking damage from certain places. So if you want to destroy them, you have to go around or you do some other platforming to get to the specific position, and then just shoot them down to unlock the next area or stuff like this.
Please take me out of this place, please. I'm gonna
Another
sit
thing
there.
that I can show you.
Ooh, a pink glitched pixels.
Yes,
You
it's
gonna drop me there? Drop me. I wanna have fun. Ooh. He dropped me.
and it's
Do I gonna swing on that? Ooh, yeah, swingy.
yeah, these are also the features that some of that we have still worked in. These are like ropes that you can climb on. They can have other things stuck to them. It is also gonna be playing into the platforming part of it.
Don't drop me, please don't drop me. And you did it.
He's bad at his own game.
Thank you. You dropped me. That hurts. I should lose HP.
Get some help. And right. one thing that I can definitely show, and I hope it's gonna work. Worked
Oh,
last
I
time.
disappeared. Ooh.
And I'm gonna quickly run it.
That's my
For those,
face in
because
there.
we had some people that were kind of commenting, oh, this is like nice animation and all that. This is actually what's all in there. And I'm not sure if it's gonna. This is like our entire animation tree for the characters all played at the same time. Just so you can see how expensive this is.
That's a lot of me here. Magic mirror on the
And
wall.
another thing that definitely is key to note is the method of how these animations are actually done. This is actually done using the spine system. Those that work in Unity probably know what it is. So what it actually means is that that the character is actually it's actually like a puppet with all the bones connected together, and this is what's being animated actually made a move. Before that, we actually had a different system, which was using spreadsheet, and that was causing a lot of trouble because the same system that we see here would actually be about 4 times as big, because for every animation, you also need to have a transition between one and the other one. And, well, to quote Overmer from the yesterday's panel, this is just, it turned it into a huge spaghetti code that was just incredibly difficult to work with. So yeah.
Is it a question time? Chocolate mooncake time.
What?
Q&A time.
Yeah, and that's probably it, unless you guys gonna have some questions. Other than I can probably show something else if I have it on hand. But that should be it for our presentation part. And now we'll.
Thank you.
Q&A time.
And now we're gonna move the Q&A until
Questions.
for as long as we can.
Questions.
But I think we have like,
We've got half an hour.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, if you guys want to, then just walk over here.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to ask what everyone's going to ask you, and you've probably answered a billion times already. Why not Unreal? Why did you use Unity?
Oh.
That's
Well, I can answer you that question. And, well, I mean, there are actually two main reasons. The first one is because, well, in my view and in view of many of people from our team, 2D games are usually better done in Unity than Unreal. That's just my personal opinion. And the second one is, when this project started, this is like a 2 years project, and back when it started, it wasn't as expansive as it was today. So there was only like 2 people working on this. It was me and the other person, who's not with us anymore. And I didn't know Unreal at the time. So when we decided to make a game, I decided it's better to work on something that I already know how to work in, which was Unity, and not an Unreal engine, which I had no clue how it works. So,
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you going to make like mirrors that change angle of this beam?
right.
Yep.
What's the question again?
They show the beam that burns like bushes.
Right.
And there's a possibility to make like mirrors, like magic mirrors that make reflection. Yeah. Are you going? Just reflect like mirror the beam and
Right.
Yeah. Like
Oh, yeah. This is We are using now a new lighting system completely that Unity recently made, and we haven't had the chance to explore it fully yet. This is something we are, in our previous system that we used, this wasn't possible at all. We couldn't like make a reflective lights or something, which, don't get me wrong, it's a really cool thing to add. I would love to have it that in our game, but it's definitely something we're gonna try to explore if it's possible to do somehow.
Yeah. It can be pretty interesting puzzles where you can find out mirrors and like beam goes out of 1 to second, and that it shows that some figure, some image, and at least it burns some bush that activates grids somewhere.
That's an actually pretty good idea, and we probably can implement it somewhere. So
Yeah, this was if we had our programmer with us today, he would probably answer this question better than any of us together.
It's like puzzles in the game.
Well, it's definitely something we're gonna explore and see how we can implement it.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
How many questions I can ask?
As many as you want.
Well,
Oh, as many as you want. First of all, will be on your game RTX?
what?
RTX mechanics, like NVIDIA. Oh, nothing more. It's just a joke. Okay. Your game will be on Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's free. So, will the community can create their own levels?
Oh, right, that's what she means.
And workshop, yeah. Will it be there?
Do it. Please
mean,
do it.
It's
No,
definitely in a
plan.
post-release category, if anything.
Oh, okay.
If there's gonna be enough demand, if people are actually want to make their own levels, it really depends of how the game is structured, because there are some games which is very easy because it's just placing some object around and that's it. I mean, Mario Maker, I mean, the whole game made around this, but we might try if it's possible, because in some cases it might be extremely difficult to actually make it. I mean, modders will always find a way to enhance the game, but what you probably mean is more something that the casual gamer can just go in, just make some couple of stuff of themselves and just put together and post. We can probably look into this, but it's gonna be more of a post-release
After release,
content.
yeah?
Yeah, after the full release.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hi. First of all, that's a gorgeous game you have there.
Thank you.
And thank you for not being an Epic Game Store exclusive.
But since you all have a phone,
And I think I've seen you plan the controller support, right? For
Right.
the
Yeah.
game. Yeah, and I wanted to ask if you could consider widescreen support, maybe, for the game. Like widescreen, like
4K?
Yeah, or
Probably.
Why not?
widescreen, like not just 16 by 9, but you know, like a
like
wide
21.
monitor.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
mean,
just a setting of the camera.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's not a big
I mean,
deal.
when it comes to resolutions, it's mostly just UI, and well, it's only some things. It's actually it's especially easier with a game like this, because it's we already have a system that sort of does it for us. It already like sets up and scales the whole game, the camera and everything. I don't think it should be that difficult to do,
Okay.
especially since our game is made is with vector graphics, so that's also made very easy to scale if you need.
Unless you want 2 wide screens, then the character will be in the middle, right, and between them, so it will be difficult.
Tiny ant.
Tiny little iris.
I'm looking forward to enjoying this game on as many screens as possible.
Thank you.
All the screens.
Hello, you said you have been working for 2 years on this game now?
Yes, around,
So
give or take.
how many more years do you expect you will be working on this game? Or in other words, how far do you think are until completion?
Well, we definitely had a lot more progress done in the previous year than it was in the first year, because we we had lacks in staff. We didn't have all the people. We are looking for programmers for a couple months, so it was a bit difficult to set up at the beginning. And now we're kind of moving a bit faster than we used to. So I would say this is kind of why we made this 2 demo setup, where we first released this one, then this one, and then this one, so that we actually have something finished, even if we take another year or 2. I would say that we would definitely want to have the first demo done by the next year, and then hopefully, if we keep up the momentum, make another demo the next year after that, and then just start working on the final release.
So what, 3 years?
Well, 2 to 3 years, I hope. This is just me making a guess. I can't say it for certain, definitely.
All right.
It's not satisfying, I guess.
Like 2 questions. The first is, since your game is clearly inspired by Limbo, do you plan to have any bosses that resemble the giant spider?
The giant spider?
Yeah, tarantula, spider.
We have lots of giant things in our
a
game,
lot of
but
giant
I don't think the
things.
spider is the one.
Don't make me being scared of
You actually
spiders.
do that also. Spider nets as.
We have a art of spider, but let me find. Ooh, okay, it's working.
No, it's not this one.
Where are the spiders? The spiders, the spiders.
Find the spider.
Let me find a spider. So you can ask another question, and I will find another spider for you.
Sorry?
You can ask. We're looking for a spider. You can ask another question, and I will find it to you.
Okay. The second is pretty simple, actually. Can I have your cute voice as an extra unlockable for the comments during in-game gameplay?
What? Again, I'm sorry.
Have her cute voice, as an extra unlockable during gameplay sessions.
I'm not sure.
Like you did before, have her comments as background.
Oh no,
voice.
it's actually we want to add some dialogues between the characters, like little Lily and his bigger sister, her bigger sister.
Yeah, this is.
So not really a comment.
That's the thing. If I'm understanding your question, all right. The demos that we showed on our station and the vendor, and what we showed here, they are going to be mostly focused on gameplay and not at all on the story. But there are dialogues between the characters. There are like relationships, and there are other side characters that are also introduced. But this is not, for the spoilers' sake, we are not including those for now.
I see.
But there are going to be, it's going to be more involved, I guess, than just quiet game.
Yeah, I was just making fun doing Lily and Iris. It's just my thing that I want to be Iris, so that was just the fun part of this gameplay.
She just does this all the time, so.
I see. Thank you, James. Okay, thank you.
Hey, I just have a general question and a suggestion, like an idea that I had like before when I saw your custom artwork for Czequestria. Like the first thing that I wanted to ask is, are you planning to make the skins of the playable characters customizable?
Actually, yes, we have considered that, and we are going to be adding that. It's not going to be in the demos, obviously, but we did want to add some sort of customization, like an unlocks, you know.
Yeah.
There's a limit to how much we want to do this, because if it's just costumes,
Yeah.
just an avatar, then it's super easy to add. It's just replacing models with the bones. They are the same bones, so it's all simple. It might be different with the haircut, but we can think of something.
And the idea that actually came to my mind when I saw your gorgeous artwork of the Conosi from Czequestria, I thought it would be a very cool idea to get some like codes or something which you can get if you go visit the
like
actual
from conventions, like.
Yes, like for example, if you
Sure.
visit Czequestria or if you visit Galacon, you can get a code which you can put into the game, and then you could unlock the skin of the con horse.
Oh, for sure. Sure. If
I think that would be a cool idea.
yeah,
And you're gonna sell it on eBay later.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
I found a card in a convention to unlock fragment. Okay, I'm gonna sell it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a good idea.
Cool.
Hello. Do you think that after you did it, do you think that after you released it, you maybe expand it if you have fun doing it? Or is it a total complete done package?
I mean, if it really just depends on how the game goes.
Spiders.
If it goes really well, then sure, this is always an option to continue to develop something nice, or maybe explore some stories of some characters that haven't been explored. We aren't playing anything for now. Right now, we're just kind of focusing on releasing it at all. But
so it depends how it goes.
yeah,
Yes.
probably yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's your spiders if you wanted to see them. So there'll be more.
Oh, but these are small spiders. I think you wanted the big one.
Don't make them bigger, okay? I'm scared.
I'm gonna make them big.
Hello there. My question is, how will the two characters interact? So will there be two storylines that intersect at some points, or will you switch between levels between the characters, or what's gonna happen?
Right. I can probably talk about it for hours. This is a game about an actual story. This isn't just Limbo and there's no story or just very omnibus. These are the characters that are actually interacting together. These are two from the same story, and they are going to be interacting with each other. The game is going to have a story about them. These are the main protagonists, so they are going to be interacting with each other. At some of the first areas, we're going to have mostly just single characters, just probably introducing the first one, and then the next one, and just showing the characters alone. But in later areas in the story, we do want to them connect with each other and actually have some gameplay when in the level they are together, not separated. So there are some interaction that we have planned for them. I'm assuming you talk more about the gameplay, like do they have...
it was just a general question, if there is
right.
gameplay interaction or if there's just a bit of story interaction.
Well, then you have a big answer to the general question.
Okay, thank you. That's all right.
So from what I've seen of the game so far, I can see hints of Ori and the Blind Forest, Limbo, Brothers, but what in your view have been your inspirations and influences?
You're actually right. Those are 100% Ori and Limbo and
Hollow Knight.
Yeah, Hollow Knight. You can see.
Well, I can say like for me, because I usually work on the game design there. I wasn't usually looking at Limbo that much. Actually, I think it was more for their style, if anything. But yeah, Ori was a huge inspiration from me myself, because it's just to me it's a masterpiece when it comes to the game design and how the mechanics are laid out. It's a really good thing to look on.
And if you know Unravel, the second version, the gameplay between sisters is kind of inspired by Unravel too. Like you have to cooperate with sisters, so. You know, we're not professionals, so we are all inspired by something. So.
Okay, hello. My question is, why did you choose alicorns? Because I think it's kind of hard to balance them with all the powers, especially with the flight. How do you limit that without breaking the immersion?
Again,
why did you choose alicorns as the main
protagonist?
Because they seem really hard to balance, especially in like a platform that revolves
not
around
exactly.
story.
I mean, honestly,
which is like, well, it's obvious that they are based on Luna and Celestia, so they were Firstly, alicorns. So
yeah, right. I was actually going to say it, crack a joke about it in the presentation, but I forgot that if you think that if these characters remind you of something, then that's exactly what they remind you of. It's pretty obvious. And I actually will admit that this is partially because of our origin of how this game actually came to be. Because at the very way back time, at the very start, when it wasn't even announced, it was just like an idea that was passed on. It was actually going to be like a pure fun game, which was actually going to have characters from the show. And there was actually only one character. There was only Auris at the beginning. And that idea was quickly scrapped and it was remodeled because we decided, well, no, we don't want to get a cease and desist. We don't want to make something unoriginal. We want to make something new, something cool. So we decided to completely remake it. But the alicorn thing stayed, so we stick with it. When it comes to balance, because that's also something you asked, for Ari's balance was rather easy because we cannot change the way how our world, the design looks at these things. So since she's a very young character, so we just make it clear story-wise that she's not very used to flying, so she can only make like basic moves like double jumps and hovers, which is very easy to work with her design. While Lily is grown up, so her movement is all about the flying. Of course, it's still somewhat limited, so she can't just fly off the map completely. And magic is just really easy to balance because we can decide what they can and what they can't do. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
So when the game will go abroad, the fandom, the bronies will still have their own part, like the sisters that remind you of something.
My question was, you just talked about the inspirations of the game as it started out. Are there any new games you've looked at that are currently coming out or are out during development that you say, hey, that's a neat idea?
Well, I can't wait to play the Ori 2, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure in that.
Make another Cyberpunk just with ponies.
And I don't know, for me, there weren't many games. There definitely are games that I wanted to try, more partially to enjoy them, but to also maybe draw some inspiration. One thing that, like I said, Ori 2, definitely I'm gonna play it the second it comes out. And I was thinking of trying Hollow Knight because I'm constantly being convinced that it's a really good game and I can't get myself to play it finally. Okay, now I am gonna play it. So
you should play Cuphead.
All right, that's
and fail. More questions? No more questions?
Yeah, as you may have heard, we have watchers on Twitch.
No. Are there any builds available to download now?
Demo? Yes, right. Currently, the only public builds that we have were for the Patreon, and the version you've played today is going to be also released there. Although a bit more polished, that is, so it doesn't break out every second. But I will admit that the more we go forward, the more we actually, especially on the conventions like these, the more we interact with people and actually show them the game and have a conversation with them, the more I'm starting to think if maybe it's a better idea to actually just, at least every now and then, release these versions to the public just for free to everyone. It's definitely a thing we may consider at some point, but right now there are no versions to play available. The next one that's planned is the final version of the first demo.
Like, we want to give the version you can play on our booth, but there's a lot of people who don't read the disclaimer that it's not finished and report us, you have a bug here, it's not working, that we want to avoid releasing unfinished piece. So if you really want, we can give you the version you can play on our booth. So, but don't expect much because it's still glitched.
I mean, that's pretty much what the demo itself was supposed to be. This was supposed to also serve us as a way to...
Music
yeah.
question.
Oh.
Oh.
No, please.
Serve us as a way to release it to everyone on Steam publicly, so that we can gather all the feedback from people. That's why it's also free, so that we can make it available to as many people as possible and promote the game itself. But the reason why we've never released earlier builds normally, previously we haven't been even releasing them on the Patreon. It was just never released anywhere, because essentially we were living by the rule that you only get one first impression, so you better make it good. So yeah.
I was wondering how the audio is going to sound like, how the audio and the music is going to sound like in your game.
We could play it maybe.
I can play it, I guess.
But I don't think we played the
we
sound.
We have two themes, like the Lily theme and the Iris theme.
No, we can play them some other ones.
And yeah, some music from
we have
Caves,
a couple
I
musicians that make the soundtrack for us, and we are trying to make it very fitting. This is almost like orchestra, I guess. We have some examples that we can probably play if the audio is plugged in, I think.
It is. It's, I guess.
Be louder. From here.
Great.
I cannot make it. The audio is plugged, but it's not working.
It's very quiet, yeah.
I cannot make it louder. It's hearable from.
We
can hear it from here. So it's not working.
There are two versions already on YouTube.
It's not working.
If you guys want to hear some music, you should also visit our YouTube channel, and every single video, especially the last one, has lots of music in it in the background. If you want to check it out, all that music is from in-game music. At the very beginning we were using some other music from other people, but then we.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
Working.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can just load a.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
How do you have it secured copyright-wise? Because there's only so much you can get inspired by something until someone comes in and says, like, that's our pony and something like that.
Right. Yeah. This question gets asked around a lot, especially like every time I go to any post on anything. It's always like, well, they got copyrighted or something. That's actually another reason why we went for the original, because we use absolutely nothing of the show. We use no models, no assets, no anything, no characters, nothing at all. Only the concept of ponies shooting magic, I guess. We even went as far as actually restructuring like the models of the characters. So you can notice like the young characters are kind of like the regular ones in the show, while the older ones are like higher and have longer legs. So we actually went as far as redesign even that to not get copyrighted.
But our characters are not copyrighted yet, so you can steal it. Do not. Do not.
Don't steal.
We didn't pay for the copyrights yet, since we're a small studio, because it's very pricey to buy the copyrights for the whole world or even the Europe.
Thanks.
Thank you. I can just.
More questions.
We got another music for you.
Yes, guys, we have one song that we definitely want to show you, but we need to find it in a moment.
Pustis the Lily team behind us.
And yeah. Thank you. So yeah, thank you guys.
You want to hear more music?
Yeah, and
so it's a team of
Lilyanna. If anyone else has a question, then walk in forward. Otherwise, we can just play some music for you until we get thrown out, I guess.
No, we don't have to rush, I guess.
Not a question, but just telling you, you don't need to register copyright or anything. You get it from the moment you create something. It's recommended that you register trademarks, but again, that's not required.
Oh yeah.
I have heard that Unity is an engine that is most focused on 3D, and that some people say that you need to wrestle the engine quite seriously if you want to use 2D. What is your experience with it?
Right. I mean, yeah, Unity at the time was a bit more for 3D, but I still think it's when it comes to 2D games, it's still a really good choice, because from my experience, just from when I was working, it was really good. But I will admit that the fact that I didn't know other engines was a bigger impact than actually Unity being good. But the cool thing is that recently Unity has actually started taking care of 2D games, because they constantly release new updates recently, and we could not be happier about this. Like every time a god of Unity just sends an update, it's like, oh, thank you, new features, new tools to use. So it's so yeah, I agree with you that there are definitely some other tools that could be considered better, but I think Unity is still really good for these kind of games. I mean, Ori was made in Unity. So.
So I have seen that at least one of the characters can fly, and the other use very frequently magic. So my question is there any level relatable to clouds? There's no clouds in your assets, I guess. I haven't seen any clouds or level based on clouds, like walking on clouds. I mean.
I mean, characters do have clothes. They are. I'm not sure if we showed the model versions.
Like almost every level is based on walking on.
You can actually see. I think a bit here. Yeah. A cloud.
Clouds.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Do you mean like the way they walk in the show, like these sort of things? Like you can bounce on them or something like this? I'm not sure what the question is exactly.
Pegasus ponies can fly, but also can walk on clouds. So,
okay, this is
one of the characters should be able to.
This is another thing. Like I said, we are separating ourselves from the show completely. So, I'm not sure we're gonna be using that kind of world design. If we might maybe use it for in some way, but it's not gonna be connected. If there's gonna be like walking clouds or like it is in the show, then it's not gonna be because of how it's in the show. If it's gonna be probably for other reasons. We have a lot of like world design, kind of story-wise elements that kind of would probably contradict a lot of things from the show, and that's the point, because we are not. When we add something to the game, when we add some world design element, like some sort of magic element or whatever, we don't actually look at the show at all.
And what about swimming?
Swimming?
We
yes.
showed you some like water physics.
Yes, this is a feature we are planning to add, but we haven't made it at all right now.
But it won't be swimming right
because in the
under
demo
the water.
level there's no sexual swimming yet, so we are not focusing on it.
Actually.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more question. I just wanted to ask if you are planning to implement music which smoothly changes based on the environment or action.
Yes, we do actually, and we were actually working on that recently. When it comes to enemies, we wanted to make like a interactive, or rather like dynamic system of music, which is instead of just having one big track, we have like a couple smaller tracks or a couple versions of the tracks, which switch between based on, like for example, if you encounter an enemy and you have 3 states, this enemy doesn't see you and doesn't know about you. You have state when he knows about you but doesn't see you, so looks for you, and we have a moment when he sees you and he chases you. So we want to have a music for each one of these stages, which kind of ramps up like the tension and tries to like set a different atmosphere based on what we want. So we are working on something like this.
I just thought it would be really cool for this kind of game.
Yeah, we are trying to make this something like this. It's coming, but we are hitting a few
like
bumps.
Imagine you're playing Dark Souls and you're walking in a calm place and the music changes and you know you're fucked up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have cutscenes, even if it's only picture?
Do you mean like cinematic cutscenes, like outside of game?
Doesn't have to be cinematic.
Yeah, I mean,
it also can be only a picture, but this is not planned.
Well, we will try to keep most of the stuff in the game. If that's probably what we, because some games use like the word I was looking for is pre-rendered. That's what I meant.
I even would agree to stay
now
in the game.
Some games go for like pre-rendered cutscenes between some segments. We are trying to avoid doing those.
I would agree, but at the beginning of a stage, the game is built up at stages, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my, we're running out of time.
You.
Oh, you.
I can't remember.
I remember you.
Yes, me too. I can't remember. Do you have any real-time animation with physics-based animation?
For the characters or just in general?
In general.
I mean, it sort of depends on what needs to be animated. If there are some objects which are good, better to be pre-animated. So usually when it's important for the mechanics. So if an object needs to fall down on something, or there are no physics-based animations for characters, except maybe for ragdoll, if that's what you mean. That's something we're gonna try to implement for the enemies in some cases, but all the better effective if it's pre-rendered, I mean pre-animated in some way. So that's probably what we could keep going for, if it answers your questions.
Thank you.
Another rather quick question. Are you planning on doing an art book of like the character design, the level design? Because I totally buy that.
Oh, this is a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it?
Are we planning to do an art book?
Do you want one?
Yes.
Do you want a big one or just a small one?
I want everything.
Even if it will cost like thousands of dollars?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, so we
Even
will.
if it costs your life. Even your
I will do
life.
everything to make it happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But we have to be careful because we are showing you too much now, and we want to make some special things for the art book. So you will have to buy art book to know new things. So we cannot show you everything now.
We already did.
So. So guys, the time has come. Our panel is gone.
Yeah, and we're still not being thrown out, so I guess it's fine to sit here.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to show?
I have only music to show, like not to show, but to hear.
To hear? Oh no.
So thank you all for coming here. Thank you for all of your questions, and
yeah, guys, if you have
again.
any other questions or you want to ask for some specific, we're still gonna be at the booth downstairs at our table, and I am myself more than happy to answer any question or show you some extra stuff from Unity or from artwork or whatever you guys want. And I'm gonna try to set up the actual game so you can try it out for yourself. Those who didn't have the chance yet.
yeah, so you can play the version we have.
Other than that, I guess we're done.
So thank you very much again.
Thank you so much.